That's why last night was probably the disappointing the most to me, was because we have handled the road so well this year. Even the game we lost at Lamar, man, we played our tails off that night. We just couldn't hold them at the end. We've played so well at Auburn. We played so well at Missouri. Um, we played well. We won so much an away game at Zephyr Field when we played ULL, but it was away from the box, you know. And I just love the way the kids. We played well at Nicholls State that night. So I think the kids have, I don't know. Sometimes, when they're young kids here, the old intimidator out there in right field can sometimes intimidate our kids more than it intimidates the other team when they're young, because the expectations are just so high here, and the pressure is really intense on these kids. Sometimes when they get away from the box, they relax and play a little bit better and not feel like every little mistake is going to add up. But this last night was like, it was just inconsistent with what we've been doing on the road. My concern obviously is that Tulane was a pretty hostile environment. Well, so is Swayze Field. I compare Tulane and Ole Miss as very similar places to play. They don't like us very much at either place, quite frankly. So you hear a lot of things, and you have to deal with it, and you have to have poise and composure, and you have to have self-confidence. You got to stick together as a team, and you got to fight through the little valleys that you're going to deal with during the course of a game. And those are things that have to be learned. With that said, I'm still very confident in our team as we go there. It's going to be a great series. It always is with Ole Miss. We've played them for 9 years that I've been here, and we've just had so many great games with them. Every game seems to be nip and tuck. The teams are always very evenly matched. The crowds are into the game. There's always a lot of spotlight on the game, and I'm sure our kids are going to rise up and they're going to play their hearts out tomorrow, Saturday, or Friday and Saturday, and I'm excited about it.
You always harp on defense, some of the, kind of strange errors that have happened in the last week or so. I mean, how do you gauge those, and how do you try to clean them up before you go back on the road?
Well, as a coach, I think all coaches are worrywart, and that's our business. Whether people understand this or not, this job is a 365-day-a-year job, 24 hours a day. I feel sorry for my family. My wife will sit there over dinner and be talking to me, and then after about 2 minutes, she'll say, "You're not listening to me, are you?" And I'd say, "No, I'm thinking about who we're going to pitch 6 months from now against Ole Miss," And that's just the nature of this business that we're in, And one of the things that I've worried about from the day we finished our season in Omaha last year was our defense for this year. It's something that we have taken such great pride in for really several years. When you look back at, the last few years, and I don't mean to live in the past, but when you look back at the last few years and you look at guys like Ibarra at third base and Bregman and Nola at shortstop and Jacoby Jones at second base, Mason Katz at first base, Ty Ross, Micah Gibbs, Cade Civic, Stevenson in center, Laird in the... You're talking about some of the very best defensive players that I've ever coached in a 34-year coaching career. And when you look at our ERAs of the last certainly the last 3 years, if not the whole tenure that Alan Dunn has been here, they've always been very low. And I think our defense has had a lot to do with that. Obviously not making errors, but also making a lot of spectacular plays. And, the transition from some of the very best defensive players you've ever coached, you have to expect that, it's going to be difficult to keep it at that level. So you worry like crazy. Listen, it could be a lot worse.